Good evening, everybody.
Hello, hello.
Welcome to another episode of Critique Corner with me, Daniel Parker.
And me, DB Fastbinder.
And if you are returning, like Creators Outlet here.
Hello, Creators Outlet.
Hey, by the way, just real quick, he's got Edwin Acevedo on his show in about an hour. So, once you're done watching us here, go and check them out. But if you were returning, welcome back. If you're new, what we do is we critique stuff. We usually what we do is we'll watch something new or more contemporary with something older or classic. Although this week, once again, we did two classic movies.
Let me go ahead and pull up. Well, first off, I need to start sharing my screen. Let me pull up the thing that was going to be our new thing until I ended up sampling it and deciding that I wouldn't really have a whole lot to say. But let me go ahead and find a quick movie poster for it.
Okay. Yeah, it's one you've been curious about for a while, and we've been trying to find a good time to watch it, and then you got about what 15, 20 minutes into it, and we're like, yeah, I don't think so.
Yep. Let's see here. Right now, actually, it's a bad sign. I'm struggling to remember the name of it.
The Pharrell Williams.
Piece by Piece, that's it.
Yeah.
I was thinking it was Brick by Brick for a second there.
Yeah.
So
Piece by Piece is a Kelly Clarkson song, which is kind of interesting. They would go with that title.
All right, so quick non-review. When we hit that any time, we can just throw this on to the start of Totoro, since it was the replacement. So it's Piece by Piece, which is the Lego biography of Pharrell Williams. And I was kind of expecting more of a narrative about it, when what it really is they sat him down and maybe some of his family and friends down, and it was just a series of interviews that they kind of made more interesting by doing Lego animations over it. The thing is that, if you have a biography of a musician you've never heard of, or only have a vague idea of, there is a skill to making that still captivating. I'll just say, for example, when we watched Elvis by Baz Luhrmann, I didn't really know a lot about the fine details of Elvis's life besides famous, hip swinging, drafted, died on the pooper.
Yeah.
and was associated with Las Vegas somehow? ?
Yeah, and Hawaii. Yeah.
Yep. See, I wouldn't even think of Hawaii first off until you reminded me about it, the one song. But
yeah.
Anyways, all I knew about Pharrell going into this was that he was the guy who did the song "Happy," which is a fine song.
I know you like it. I don't like
it. I can also see where the song could be annoying because it is kind of very on the nose. But that's basically the extent of what I knew about him. And I think if they just turned it into more of a narrative, it would have worked better. But it's just it's like an old VH1 behind the music interview, but instead of having recreated scenes with actors, it was Legos.
Oh, yeah.
What I'd also say is that the Lego animation is not of the same quality as the Lego movies, which is kind of a high bar for what I imagine had a much smaller budget.
Yeah.
What I would say is that if you actually know who Pharrell is going into it and find him interesting, I think you'll get a kick out of it. It just wasn't able to convert me over to being a Pharrellistine, or whatever the name for a Pharrell fan is.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you there. Yeah. I mean, it didn't interest me when you were telling me about it, but I was just kind of like, okay, well, we'll give it a watch. Just maybe it's because I thought maybe it would kind of be like what was that? A Better Man, uh, the movie about Robbie Williams, who like that movie sounded like I mean they made him turn him into a monkey.
Yeah,
Which,
they just CGI'd him into a chimp man.
yeah, and once you understand from like a narrative perspective why they did that, it makes sense. But at the same time, it's like, okay, people in America or outside of Europe, like they don't know who Robbie Williams is, and so you make a biopic about a guy nobody knows about, and you turn him into a CGI chimp, But
And the difference between those two movies is that I heard nothing but praise for Better Man, so it is on my eventual to watch list.
yeah,
I don't think I ever heard anybody ever have anything to say about Piece by Piece,
yeah.
including movie review channels I follow.
I guess it was just not on anyone's radar, and probably because it wasn't really like a narrative story. It was just like you said, it was just like a behind the music kind of like documentary, just with Legos, which
Yep.
which seems like a waste of time and money to do it that way.
Yeah, it's weird that I believe it got a theatrical release. It's just weird that, and again, like just from what I saw, Pharrell was kind of an odd dude, not like bad or anything, just
Different,
a bit eccentric.
Yeah, which a lot of musicians are.
Yep. So we went through the in case of needing a review, break glass file, and ended up finding My Neighbor Totoro, which has been on both of our radars as a review topic for ages.
Yes,
It's just every time we would go by, it's like, how about My Neighbor Totoro? If we can't find anything better.
and then we'd often find something else.
Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, this is a Studio Ghibli Hayao Miyazaki movie. It's we were kind of talking before the show. It's almost like a precursor to The Boy and the Heron, only a lot less complicated.
Right, and I feel like this movie is much more in the Miyazaki wheelhouse in terms of not exceeding his grasp.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's definitely more kid friendly than some of his other movies too. It's basically about this family. It's a dad and his two daughters. The dad's name was what was the dad's name?
So the dad is Tatsuo, and he has his
Tatsuo.
daughters Satsuki and Mei.
Yeah. And we watched the English dub of it, and Tatsuo was voiced by Tim Daly, who most people will if you will recognize his voice. He's the voice of Superman and Clark Kent in the Superman the Animated Series.
Oh, that's why he immediately sounded so trustworthy.
Yes.
He was also a guy in Wings.
Wings, yeah. And the sisters, Satsuki and Mai, were voiced by the Fanning sisters, Dakota and Elle, respectively. We've seen Dakota Fanning in a couple of movies for the channel, Man on Fire and Equalizer 3. And yes, both of those were with Denzel Washington.
Yep. So I think this is our first Dakota Fanning movie without Denzel.
Yes. And also kind of rounding out the cast, you had Pat Carroll was the voice of the old lady. And I looked her up, and she was the voice of Ursula from The Little Mermaid, which, two completely different characters there. And
yeah, so they both had their issues.
Yeah, they both had their issues. Yeah. And last but not least, you had the one and only, the legendary Frank Welker as the voice of Totoro and all of the other animals.
Oh, apparently Catbus was voiced by somebody else, although his meowing screech sounded a lot like Welker.
Yeah.
But Welker just has a very distinctive voice and way he attacks animal sounds that always makes him just jump out at me.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But yeah, so Tatsuo and Sasuke and Mai, they move out to the country, to this little farmhouse, and they have to move out there because the mom is not in the hospital. She has an unspecified illness, not really sure what it is. um, and so basically, as soon as they move in, they kind of start noticing strange things in the house. They see these like kind of like spider-looking things, and the old lady who lives next door tells them that they're what, soot sprites, and
Yeah,
they're
soot
basically,
sprites is something like that. But they
yeah,
just they're like a little black puff ball that leaves a trail of dust in their wake, or if they touch them, their hands get all sooty.
yeah, and she just tells them, well, if you're really nice, they'll leave, and but I hate to think what the hate to think what they would do if they weren't nice, but
This isn't that type of movie.
okay,
And,
yeah,
and that's one of the things that's interesting about My Neighbor Totoro is just it is a very small movie, but that isn't a bad thing. It's just
yeah,
it is slice of life is the wrong term for it, but it is just basically exploring the family dynamics. You have the older sister Satsuki having to basically act like a mom for her little sister May, and you have I think May was 4 years old, 3 years old.
4, yeah,
Yeah,
4, yeah,
and her having her very limited understanding of why mommy can't come hang out with them, and later on, why she can't come visit them when she was supposed to come for that weekend.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, and she also does the little thing where she repeats what everything her sister says.
Yeah, I want to say that Elle did an amazing job. I don't know how old she was at the time, but she sounded very believably like a toddler.
Yeah, so it looks like they recorded it in, yeah, I don't know, looks like 2005. So she would have been,
Huh. Let's see. It was released in 1993, but I know that a lot of Ghibli movies have ended up with multiple dubs over time.
yeah, because okay, so Elle would have been, so she was born in 1988, so she would have been 7.
Let's see here. So there was what they called the Fox dub, which was used on home video from 93 to 2004.
Yeah, well, I think we watched the Disney dub,
which is funny considering that it's on
HBO Max.
HBO Max at the moment. But
yeah.
All right, yeah, the old Fox dub is gone.
Yeah.
So anyway, so they were okay. So if they were older at the time, that's even more impressive that they managed to sound so believably young.
Yeah. But yeah, so then as the movie progresses, May is kind of wandering around, and she sees this big tree, and or no, she sees a little like rabbit creature kind of just
like this little small Totoro thing here.
Yeah, and immediately as soon as I was seeing that, I'm like, oh, I'm waiting for that thing to start saying, I'm late, I'm so very, very late.
See, I didn't even think of the Alice in Wonderland comparison, but you're dead right there.
Yeah, because then she follows him out to this tree, and then she climbs through the tree, and the branches leading to the tree, and then falls into the tree. And then from there, that's when she meets Totoro, who's just this giant cat, rabbit thing, yeah,
bear koala thing.
Yeah.
I've never looked into this, but I have this sneaking suspicion that the origin of this was Miyazaki doodling one day and drawing that outline and going, there's something to this.
Yes. Like, I can make a movie out of that.
Yep. And as far as spoilers go, I think we are going to want to talk a little bit about the end plot, just because there was some funny moments in there. But overall, I think that this is just a very calming movie. I don't know that I necessarily loved it while I was watching it, but I think that it's aged well as I've thought back on it,
Yeah.
I could see some kids being bored by it if they want more conflict, especially because it takes a while for Totoro himself to show up.
Yeah, he didn't show up till what about 30 minutes into the movie.
Yeah. Uh, Also, Totoro is a largely silent character outside of bestial noises, which is why it took me a while to recognize Frank Welker as the dub voice.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he's just kind of a very calming guy, or very chill guy.
Yeah.
Eagle-eyed South Park fans might notice that they basically used Totoro as they turned Cthulhu into Totoro in a classic set of South Park episodes with the coon.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. Yeah. Yeah.
But and like, there's nothing overly scary here, so I think that as long as you're like, I would say keep an eye on your kids, because if they get bored and wander off, well, you're more entertained. Mayhem could occur, but
Yeah.
I think a lot of kids would like this.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know if my niece or nephew, when they were younger, they would probably get bored with it. But yeah, but no, I would say probably like 7, 8, maybe.
Yeah, Miyazaki movies. Okay, I guess Miyazaki movies aren't necessarily my favorite all the time, but
Yeah.
this is like very much in the wheelhouse of what the Studio Ghibli is good at.
Yeah.
But fun fact: this was released as a double bill with another Studio Ghibli movie, Grave of the Fireflies.
Yeah.
Which, boy, that has to be like the biggest 1-2 punch of see, family is great, and be there for your family, and watch out for your little sister, or else.
Or yeah. Oh man.
You might
I'm
ask,
curious.
oh,
Yeah.
does that mean that Grave of the Fireflies is our next review? Ha, no.
No.
I'm never watching that movie because I don't want to be that sad.
Yeah. Yeah. Same here. Oh.
All right, on to the spoiler thoughts. So the granny is kind of, while we were joking earlier that her character is very different from Ursula, she's almost the villain of the movie as much as it has one, because the overall theme of the movie is like very much just like family. It pays homage to traditional Japanese mythology and religion.
Yeah.
But like, Granny is just always full of the worst advice.
Yeah.
Like, you're dealing with a little 4-year-old who's very sad that her mother isn't around and worried that her mother is sick. And she basically says, oh, your mother couldn't die and leave a little girl like as cute as you alone. Like, that is an awful thing to say, because what if she does take a turn?
Yeah.
You got to hedge your bets slightly.
Yeah. Yeah. Ooh.
The climax of the movie, the third act conflict, is the mom was supposed to come visit them, and May was so excited, and then the mom developed an extra cold. And what I thought was one of the funnier fake outs, because you're used to Disney movies where of course parents are going to die.
Oh, yeah.
Like, there's a real feeling that of dread when they say, oh, your mom's taking a turn for the worse, your dad needs to get to the hospital. So there's like this whole thing where Satsuki has to drive to the neighbor's house to use their phone because it's out in the boonies.
Yeah.
And May, while she's sad about this, decides to go, and she knows roughly where the hospital is, so she's just going to start walking that direction.
Yeah, it's with an ear of corn.
Right, because they picked some local corn and veggies and stuff to feed their mom.
Yeah. Yeah, and so May gets lost, and then everyone's out looking for her, and then they find a sandal out in the middle of the water
in a lake,
in a lake,
or a pond, I should say.
Yeah.
And okay, so this is one of the funnier, darker thoughts I had, and we had the same thought independently. So you have all these men like with their poles trying to like they're like they have assumed that May has drowned, and they're fishing around in the pond with these long poles, like trying to just dredge her up, right?
Yeah.
And then Satsuki comes across him as she's continuing her search for the sister, and there's this tense moment. The old woman asks, "Is this your sister's shoe?" Satsuki looks at it for a moment and goes, "No."
Yeah.
And the thought we both had was, "Oh, thank God, some other little girl drowned."
Yeah.
Call off the search. We only care about May.
Yeah. It's like, well, whose sandal is it? Like,
Sandals don't just spontaneously generate.
yeah. Like, yeah.
But yeah. So, and again, like surprisingly, no body count in this movie.
No, it's a happy ending. And the mom isn't really gravely ill. It's just
Right. She just has she has a cold exacerbating her unspecified illness.
Yeah. But yeah, and there's some, of course, throughout the movie, you do kind of have the the whimsical stuff with Totoro, like they're planting the acorns that they got from them, and then they waiting for them to sprout, and then Totoro shows up and does a little dance around them, and then it grows into this giant tree, and then the tree disappears. Yeah.
And the most famous bit for Persona players is the cat bus, or Neko bus, if you prefer.
Yes. Yeah. they're just out there hanging out in the bus stop in the rain.
Which seeing how popular this movie was, I suppose that it does make sense why the cat in Persona said, "Oh, for some reason it's in the popular subconscious that a cat can become a bus."
Ah. Oh, I remember that now. Yeah. Okay. So a lot of people in Japan have seen this movie.
Yep. So yeah, again, I think that overall, I don't think we would recommend it for adults watching it for the first time, because it's just kind of cute, and the animation is great. And the soundtrack is also surprisingly good.
Yeah.
I think if I have one complaint about it, and this is like the nittiest of nitpicks, the sound quality for the voice recording is too good for the movie.
Oh yeah, I noticed that.
Because basically the soundtrack sounds like it's the original. Who knows? For all I know, it was originally done in mono. Because anime of the 80s didn't always have the best audio fidelity.
Yeah.
So it's like, the original audio quality, and then you have this amazing crisp voice acting. And just years of watching anime has taught me to expect certain sound quality with certain generations of art. And so I just kept having this uncanny valley with it.
Yeah. I noticed that with some certain other anime that they did that. Like when they redubbed Akira, it kind of had the same feel to it. Yeah. It was just like the audio track on the voices, sounded too good for the rest of the movie. It needed to be a little rougher around the edges.
I wonder if they just lost the technology. Like, how do we add just the right amount of scuff?
Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, like, again, before I interrupt myself, I don't think I'd recommend this for a lot of adults.
Yeah.
But if you have a child who doesn't need an explosion every 5 minutes in their cartoons, give it a go. It's on HBO Max.
Yep, indeed.
Daniel, you had a solo review for this week. Go ahead and get started. I'll be right back.
Okay. Yeah, so my solo review is a movie Blown Away. And it's kind of been on my radar for a little while. I have a vague recollection of when it came out in the theaters. It's a what would I call it? Kind of action, suspense, psychological thriller type movie. It stars Jeff Bridges. He's a Boston PD bomb squad technician, and who has a dark past. and his past comes back to haunt him when an old foe, played by Tommy Lee Jones, shows up and decides to make Jeff Bridges' life a living hell by just blowing stuff up and targeting the people he cares about most. And yeah, it's an all right movie. It's not.
So you're saying you weren't blown away?
No, I was not blown away. Um, yeah, it definitely has that like mid '90s feel to it in terms of like the storytelling and everything. Um, but yeah, so Jeff Bridges' character, he's Jimmy Dove, and he's a bomb squad technician with the Boston Police Department bomb squad technician, and he's kind of got he's got a very high, obviously a very high risk, high stress job, and he's getting ready to actually quit the job because he can't take the stress and pressure anymore. And plus, he's got a girlfriend that he's about ready to marry her, and she's got a daughter. So he's like, he's got a family to think about. So he retires, but then uh, little does he know that like a year before, Tommy Lee Jones, his character, Ryan Garrity, he's a IRA terrorist who's been in prison for the last 15 years, and he breaks out in stunning fashion because he can like make a bomb out of anything. And So he starts going, and then he goes to Boston. But so here's a big problem that I have is like he breaks out of prison. Why does he break out of prison? Well, does he have like a motivation for doing it? Well, no, it's just he just wanted to get out of prison. But then when he goes to Boston, he watches TV, and he sees Jeff Bridges on there, being very heroic and rescuing a woman from a bomb, and he sees him and on the TV, and in my mind I was sitting there thinking, okay, that seems like kind of a weird setup for him to start going after Jeff Bridges because um okay, so I haven't spoiler here, if anyone's interested, but Jeff Bridges is actually his real name is Liam McGivney, I think was what McGivney, and he was actually Northern Irish, and he was part of the same cell with Tommy Lee Jones's character. And we come to find out that Tommy Lee Jones's character, he wasn't in it for the cause. He was like the Joker in the Dark Knight. He just wanted to watch the world burn, and and Bridges prevented a big attack that he was about to commit that would have killed like hundreds of people. And that's how he ended up in prison. And then Bridges goes to Boston, changes his name, and becomes a police bomb squad guy.
No.
Yeah, and in my head, I'm sitting there thinking, like, okay, well, I would have set that up a lot differently. I would have had like, like Tommy Lee Jones in prison, and having like one of the other guys in the prison be like, hey, you remember Liam McGivney? Like, oh, how could I forget him? He's the reason I'm in here. Well, little birdie told me he's in Boston. Oh, really? And then that's when he breaks out. But they didn't do that. It was just kind of like a happenstance thing. It was just like, oh, okay.
So a dumb coincidence when you didn't need a dumb coincidence.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And so basically, yeah, like Tommy Lee Jones starts targeting Jeff Bridges, like, because so the attack that Bridges prevent ended up getting all the other members of their cell killed, including Tommy Lee Jones's sister, who is in love with Jeff Bridges' character. And so he starts going after all of the people in Jeff Bridges' life. He kills his bomb squad team. He starts going after his new wife and his stepdaughter. and so it's basically just a whole psychological thing where he's trying to stop him and keep his keep the family and keep this new life he has intact, even though it's kind of like it's all based on a lie. And I would say the third act of a lot of the movie just felt really, for a movie called Blown Away, that's about a mad bomber, not a whole lot of bombs going off.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, and then not a whole lot of that, and the final confrontation between the two of them, like it's building up to it. They're building up to it throughout the movie, and it was just like, okay, yeah, right. It turned into kind of like a typical action fight scene kind of thing, with a ticking bomb thing that's about to go off, and it's just like, oh, okay. but yeah, it's I think IMDb has this at like 6.2. I'd say that's a little high. I'd probably give it like a 5.5. Yeah, it just didn't really do it for me. And I can kind of understand why this movie isn't more well regarded 30 plus years later since its release. It's just like, okay.
So it's kind of like an acceptable action movie that was quickly and rightly forgotten.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Sometimes you find a rough in the rough and not a diamond.
Yes, that's true. One last thing I kind of want to mention real quick. The director of the movie was Stephen Hopkins, and he's the guy who did he did Predator 2, and he also did the Lost in Space movie. So Predator 2 was definitely his best movie. But if you're interested, but if any of you are interested in it, it's on Amazon Prime.
Well, transition.
Well, we do have another movie that definitely blew us away.
Yes, it wasn't an impossible mission to outdo Blown Away.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. We went back to the very first Mission Impossible with the movie that started all, turned Tom Cruise into an action hero and probably upset a lot of.
Well, wait. He had Top Gun before that, so.
Well, that's true, yeah. But most of the movies he did, like in the 80s and 90s, were either like they were kind of like melodramas mostly, or chick flicks. He had like A Few Good Men. What was that? Well, Days of Thunder was kind of an action movie, although that was a sports movie. What was the other movie? He did another movie with Nicole Kidman. I can't remember the name of it. It was like he did a lot of there's a reason women fell in love with Tom Cruise, because he was kind of like Leonardo DiCaprio at the beginning of his career, doing a bunch of romantic movies, and then he pivoted away from that to do to do action movies, and then Leonardo DiCaprio kind of did the same thing.
That seems to be a workable career trajectory, I guess, because if you make all the women think you're dreamy, they'll follow you to the action movies, even if they don't usually like action movies.
Right. Yeah. And I actually do remember seeing not this one, but the second one in the theater. And most of the people in the audience were young women. So there you go.
It works.
Yeah. But yeah, this movie was I think of all of the movies in this franchise, this one was the closest to what the original television show was like.
And yet, if you took a purist attitude on it, you would be extremely angry.
Yes, yeah, because the hero from the television series, Jim Phelps.
Hold up. So we are going to assume that this action movie that came out in 1996 is one that you have seen.
Yeah.
If you have not seen it for whatever reason, it is on Netflix. It is worth watching. You will have a good time. It is the type of mindless action movie, so they don't really make successfully anymore.
Yeah.
Actually, no, not mindless. It's pretty mindful, I should say.
Yeah,
It's
it
the type of
was. Yeah.
fun action movie that they don't usually make anymore.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Actually, if I remember at the time, like, I mean, this movie was really popular. It did really well, but the big criticism about it was that the plot was too confusing.
What?
Yeah. Yeah.
I did not. What?
Well, it is. I will say it is one of those movies that, like, if you don't watch it from the beginning, if you like, you can't jump into the middle of it and start watching it.
That's true. This is not one to pick up in the middle of a TV broadcast.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, that's why, like, the second movie had like a very simple plot.
Oh, so they dumbed it down.
Yes, it did. Yeah, they did. Well, I mean, it was directed by John Woo.
Anyways, so yeah, we are going to be getting into spoilers. You have been warned. Don't hate us if you spoil. If you think, well, I'm just going to keep watching anyway. What harm could there be? The spoilers are going to be fast and immediate.
Yes, they are. Yeah.
Back to what Daniel was saying before I rudely cut him off.
Yeah. So Jim Phelps, he was the main character, the main hero in the television series. He was played by Peter Graves, and they actually asked him to come back to reprise the role in this movie, but he turned it down. And the main reason he turned it down was because they turned the character into a bad guy.
Yes, of course. I only know of Peter Graves because he was a bit before my time. He was in Airplane, right?
Yeah, he was the pilot. Yeah,
that's right. I also remember him from a Mystery Science Theater bit where Crow writes a biography of him, and the only thing he ever talks about is the fact that he went to the University of Minnesota. Hello, I'm Peter Graves, and I attended the University of Minnesota. Hello, I'm Peter Graves, and I'm still attending the University of Minnesota.
Yeah. But Jim Phelps in this movie, he's played by Jon Voight. And basically what happens, so the setup of the movie is kind of a typical Mission Impossible story where he gets, Jim Phelps gets the mission. They have to stop a guy they suspect is a double agent from getting a list of covert operatives, and there are two halves of the list. One is the code name, or the alias of the undercover operative, and then their real name. Yes, this plot device has been used in other spy movies like Skyfall, and actually I think one of the later Mission Impossible movies did the same. It actually used the same thing. It used a list. But yeah, they have to prevent this list from getting out into the open. So they're in Prague and at the embassy, and they got to they do their whole setup thing where they're kind of like doing like a heist thing, and of course you've got one of the members of the team, the prominent member of the team, Ethan Hunt, and that's Tom Cruise. And he's the guy who he wears all the latex masks and goes undercover, pretends to be other people. And in this case, he's pretending to be a senator. And actually, if you spot it closely, that's actually Tom Cruise, just with heavy prosthetics. It's not a different actor,
which is a nice detail.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, all the makeup effects were done by Rob Bottin, who did. He did RoboCop. He did John Carpenter's The Thing, and I think American Werewolf in London, I believe was he did the other werewolf movie with it doesn't matter. But yeah, so they
basically better special effects than you would expect.
Yes, indeed. And so, but then things go horribly wrong on the mission, and the entire team is killed except for Ethan Hunt, and he goes to meet with his
the wife of John Voight,
and the wife of John Voight. And so so he goes and he meets with like his boss's boss, like Phelps's boss, and he was actually in the character, and the actor was in the other Mission Impossible movie that we watched, the more not the new one, but the one before it.
number 7.
Number 7. Yeah, actually, there are a lot of references to this movie and that movie.
I hear that number 8 got even more deep in the weeds on the storyline of it.
Yeah, yeah, and I actually kind of got a spoiler from that movie. I won't tell you what it is in case you're interested in watching it. But yeah, so he meets with him, and then, of course, their mission was basically a setup for another IMF team, the Impossible Mission Force. It was actually watching them because they suspect a member of that team is a mole, working with an arms dealer named Max. And since Ethan Hunt was the only one who survived, or at least they think he's the only one who survived, they suspect he's the mole, and so he has to go on the run to prove his innocence. And he works with John Voight's wife character in the movie, and so they basically just kind of set up this whole scheme where he works with he starts working, pretending he's working for Max, who's played by Vanessa Redgrave. And also, real quick note, Vanessa Kirby's character in the more recent movies, the blonde woman, she's the daughter of Vanessa Redgrave's character in this movie.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Sort of funny when she's like the romantic interest. But
yeah.
It reminds me of one of the James Bonds, the one who had the really long run in the 70s and 80s.
Roger Moore.
I keep thinking Timothy Dalton whenever I think of Roger Moore's name, and I know that's blatantly false because Dalton was only in the one movie, as I recall.
Two.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that's right. It was Lazenby who just had the one movie, right?
Right. Yeah, Lazenby had the one movie. Yeah.
Okay. Anyways, Moore was talking with the actress who was playing his love interest in his last movie, and they figured out that he could have actually been her grandfather, and that's when he decided to stop making them.
Yeah. Yeah, when
Tom Cruise is not held back by any such thing. Though, to be fair, he looks much younger than Moore did at the time.
That's true. Yeah. Oof. But yeah, so he's pretending to work with Max so that he can prove his innocence and find the actual mole. And then that's when he recruits Ving Rhames' character, Luther. And of course, he's aside from Tom Cruise, he's the only actor who's appeared in every Mission Impossible movie.
Which was actually a really big shock to me, just because, okay, so I'm not a huge follower of these movies. I've only seen one, whichever one that J.J. Abrams directed, and then 7 for the show.
Okay, yeah.
I cannot tell you how startled I was that Ving Rhames was there from the start, because it had been 30 years since I saw this movie.
Yeah. It's. I think it's because I'm trying to remember. So 96. I think they probably liked keeping him on because just of how his character was kind of almost like a comedy relief. And that might be why they liked having him, just for a little bit of humor. And plus, this movie came out, I think, the year after Pulp Fiction, so everybody remembered him from that. And of course, it also could be too that just a little bit of money there too.
I mean, he's definitely a likable character, and he is. He does feel different enough from Cruise. I did find it funny that from the very start, Ethan Hunt was always like out of step with his commanding organization. So it's always just like, oh, I have to go rogue to save the world again.
Yeah,
first time.
Yeah, the only movie where he doesn't go rogue is actually the second one, and of course in that movie the villain is a rogue agent, so it's just kind of like, all right, well, can't have two rogue agents going after each other.
Have to go rogue to stop the agent who's gone rogue.
Right? Yeah. Yeah, and then the other guy he recruits is Krieger, who's played by Jean Reno, who's Leon the Professional.
Wasn't he also in the Godzilla movie, or am I thinking of a different French actor?
No, he was in Godzilla. Yeah.
I, the man of culture, know him from the American Godzilla movie.
Yes.
I have seen The Professional, but it was a bit awkward, so I don't remember it well.
Yeah, I've seen it once. Yeah, I haven't watched it in a long time. I do remember. I just remember the relationship between him and Natalie Portman's character being really creepy.
Yeah, just a tad.
Yeah, yeah. Oh. But getting back to this movie, yeah. So he recruits these guys so he can actually steal the list, because the list wasn't actually stolen. It was a fake. At the beginning of the movie, it was a fake list, and that's where you have the iconic wire scene where he's dangling from the wires, and they copied it in and they did that in every single movie.
Yeah, and I gotta say that scene completely holds up. There are so many tense moments in this movie that just like, even knowing, okay, I've seen the movies where the character is still alive 30 years later.
Yeah. And the whole train sequence, at the end.
The train sequence was great too. Yeah. Was this the start of Cruise basically being the American Jackie Chan?
Pretty much, yeah.
Was he doing all of his own stunts in this one, or was that a later development?
No, I think he did all of his own stunts in this one. I know he did in the second one. Like the second one had the famous scene where he's free climbing and out in Utah. And he did that himself. I think I'm pretty sure he did all of his own stunts in this movie. But that was it was a pretty intense sequence there.
Yep, and I did notice, and I thought this was really funny, that is that okay? So as they're breaking into the Pentagon to get this information, they need to actually have the parts of the list so they can use it as bait. There is some random agent who is just their butt monkey for it.
Oh yeah,
just gets poisoned and messed with, and I kept waiting for him to say a line. I thought to myself, "Oh man, this poor guy. He is 100% an extra because he never actually says a line." So his character got humiliated, and he didn't even get a voice or a speaking role paycheck for it.
Yeah. Although I'm trying to remember, did he show up in the one we watched?
I'm going to admit, I kind of really disliked that one, so it is not stuck in my memory at all.
Yeah, I seem to recall maybe he did, or there was some talk. I can't remember. Yeah, I don't remember that movie very well. Yeah, because like you, I didn't like it very much. But that's and then they were just like, oh, send him to Alaska. We'll mail him his clothes.
Yeah, it's like, oh, we need to get him out of here. Yes, send him to an observation post in Alaska. We'll mail him his clothes. Yeah, this movie is pretty funny. In kind of a cruel way usually, but pretty funny.
Yeah. Real quick, I also want to mention that the director on the movie was Brian De Palma, who did The Untouchables, which we reviewed, as well as a slew of other movies. I'm trying to, and if I remember right, I think they did ask him to come back to do the second one, but he turned it down. Not sure why, but he might be one of those guys who just doesn't. One of those directors who's like, "Oh, I don't do sequels.
I don't want to repeat myself."
Yes. But yeah, I mean, this is yeah, this is a good little spy action thriller. It's a little dated in a few places, I will say. Just because of like the computers that they use and
Yeah,
the
it's
cell
so
phones.
delightfully 90s.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. um, but yeah, as DB mentioned earlier, it's on Netflix. I believe it might also be on Paramount Plus as well if you don't have Netflix for whatever reason.
Right? If for some reason I don't know, maybe you get Paramount Plus with your Walmart Plus subscription and you don't see the need to pay for Netflix.
Yeah.
But no, there's one thing I think is very interesting. So
Yeah.
Daniel mentioned before that, that they tried to bring back Peter Graves to play his character, and he turned it down because he had been turned into a villain.
Yeah.
This is like, to my mind, the greatest example why, if you're a fan of something, you do kind of have to gatekeep things, or else the elements you don't like don't just go away.
Right. Yeah.
Because just because like Tom Cruise took over this series.
He did. Yeah.
Any memory of the 1960s original is largely, oh yeah, it's that thing that I've never seen before. That was the basis for that Tom Cruise movie series.
Yeah.
About the character who they made up for this movie. Like, he did not exist in the original.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It was a complete total reboot. Yeah.
A complete total reboot. The hero of the previous series is now a villain. It's like certain series that I'm kind of upset with the way they went with. I kind of have to go after a certain point. Okay, more time has passed with the continuity you don't like than without it. It's not coming back to, like, they're never going to do the reset you want. So just move on.
Yeah.
But that just struck me as the ultimate. Like, this is very well received because I think in the 90s, well, first off, there was, I don't know, like actually, there's a question. Do you think this movie would have gotten the Midnight's Edge critical drinker treatment if the coming out of this movie and the heyday of Mission Impossible had been 30 years different?
I don't know. It's a good question. Part of me thinks no, just because it's Tom Cruise.
Right. Although I guess like nowadays, like, gosh, we don't really have an equivalent to Tom Cruise. A couple of years back, it would have been Chris.
Hemsworth.
Not Chris Hemsworth. Of Star-Lord.
Pratt.
Chris Pratt. Thank you.
Yeah.
I was getting my Marvel Chris's all jumbled in my mind, and I knew it. But a couple years ago, maybe it would have been Chris Pratt, or maybe Jason Statham. Like, none of them. No, okay. It's like the scene where he finds out what the scheme was. Yeah. I can't see any of our current action stars managing to pull off. And that was actually a really cool scene because he is pretending to work out the plot in a way that John Voight's character would like understand.
Yeah.
But like the way that the look of shock on his face and the flashbacks they keep using, you realize he's piecing together what John Voight actually did to them while having to make a face of like hiding what he's figured out.
Right. Yeah. That was a really good scene. Yeah.
Like I can't see a lot of actors being able to pull off that subtlety.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because the expression work told you everything you needed to know.
Right. Yeah.
But I could see people who didn't get that. Maybe that's the scene where people would declare the movie confusing.
Yeah. They probably, that scene probably popped up and they're like, what the heck is this all about? Like, what?
Right, he's saying the opposite of what's going on.
Yeah. Yeah.
How does that work?
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely worth a watch. I don't know when I'll feel like going and giving the others a shot. An interesting little statistic is that this movie apparently makes Paramount like $10 million a year just by itself.
That doesn't surprise me.
So if you want to know why they put $400 million into the last movie, or whatever crazy amount that was, it's like, well, the long-term investment.
Yeah. Yeah, just keep churning out just keep printing money on it. Yeah.
Yep.
Certainly doing better than Star Trek is now for Paramount.
Well, that's not even fair, man.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Speaking of not even fair, we don't want to impinge too much on Edwin's stream, so
Right. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, I think we've said all we need to say for tonight.
indeed.
Well, thank you everybody for tuning in. We appreciate it as always. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Ring the bell, buy some books. Yeah.
And Daniela, what's the name of that channel?
It is Creators Outlet.
Yep. So go to Creators Outlet, watch Edwin's comic book crowdfunding video, and buy some copies.
Indeed, yes. And we'll see you next week. Night, everybody.
Good night.